Whenever Sergio Direnzo releases a new watch, those of us in the know sit up and pay attention. We know that the attention to detail, the individual design, and the proven track record of delivering watches on time with regular updates is just as much of a trademark of the brand as is his beautiful watches. The DRZ 06 Wandering Star was teased a few times in late 2023, and I thought it looked quite nice, but didn't particularly excite me if I'm honest. It's not an easy one to photograph, and it can come across a tad helmet-like. And one thing I noticed immediately when I finally got one in hand is the immense difference between the look on bracelet and leather strap. This is something I'll talk more about in the review, but rest assured that the trademark attention to detail from industrial designer Sergio is there. In terms of complications, a wandering hour complication is more commonly known perhaps, especially on fancy expensive watches, and it's at least my first exposure to this interesting seconds complication named Wandering Star, and we'll do some close-ups of this today. If you've never heard of the brand or the founder, this is now the 6th launch of a new model. I backed my first one on Kickstarter back in the day, and in time was also lucky to strike up a distant friendship with Sergio and interview him for my Microbrand Owner series, which is worth a watch if you like. As with most microbrands, your challenge is that you have to put your faith into videos like this since you can't go and try one on. That makes it even more important for reviewers like me to present all the aspects of the watch, and I've been wearing it all week for this exact purpose. I'm telling you now, this is another winner, but it's probably more for us watch people than your spouse or person on the street. So should you go forth and commit on the pre-sale campaign starting on 10 February? Let me help you decide. If you're new here, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe if you like what you see, so thank you in advance. Now to the sizes, which is just as important to most people as the look of the watch. We're looking at a diameter of 37.8mm or 41.5 including the crown. Lug to lug is 46mm and lug width is, you might be surprised to hear with this fitted strap and bracelet, still a standard 20mm. It's only 10.9mm thick and weight on this leather strap is only 88 grams. So it's an interesting set of dimensions, and whilst you might normally shy away from what is essentially a 38mm watch, trust me on this, it's the perfect diameter and the overall wear is spot on. Getting closer to this dial reveals the many fun Direnzo specific touches. The indices are once again almost suspended against the dark dial on their long stalks, and are slightly larger at 12, 3 and 9. It's another sandwich dial where the outer fully loomed disc sits underneath the dial with its carved out 5-minute sections, and it meets the curved edges of the dial. This curved dial approach is something we've seen before from Direnzo, in fact on all his watches that have varying degrees of curves. They're probably all the same degree actually, but to a casual observer, the curve is always there and it adds so much depth and interest to his dials. When I heard I'd be getting the black one on loan for a review, I thought that might be the least interesting of the lot, but now I think I got the best one. The circular brush is very good and adds a bit of a sunburst effect under strong lights. The logo is printed underneath the 12, and that's it in terms of text print. To me, the logo has always reminded me of the Death Star in full planet-destroying action, with that beam that's spreading from the middle. And now this has a double meaning with a seconds complication above the 6. Here's a wandering star orbiting a planet that I'm sure is definitely not called Alderaan, or any other planet of galaxies far, far away. But having worn this watch for a week now, the target of the orbit is still there, and I'm quite sure that it won't be destroyed no matter how menacing the red star is. This disc is fully loomed, and as far as I can work out with loops and other means, it's a see-through disc that sits on top of the loomed circle, and this is where the red star is mounted. This can sometimes mean that you get a tiny shadow on the disc, which you'll most definitely see when you are reincarnated as an eagle. You won't need eagle eyes for legibility since the hands are both large and contrasty enough to tell the time, but timing seconds will leave room for interpretation, I'd say. Overall, the dial is individual, fun and beautiful. And even though that large disc at 6 can be a tad overbearing, it may be less so in the other dial colors if that worries you. The case is an almost cushion shape, and a fixed bezel will act as protection for bumps and scratches. But for the record, the flat sapphire crystal they are coating is just as tough as you'd hope. This is a good time to point out that applied to both the case and the bracelet if you order that, is a hardness coating of 800 Vickers. So once again, in conjunction with Trusca and Second Hour, does microbrands lead the way to keep your watches pristine for a long time. The sides of the case have been shaped to add some visual interest and are polished unlike the top brushed parts. The crown is signed with the usual red dot, which now also ties in with the star on the dial. One detail I love is that the leather strap and bracelet meets the angle of the lug perfectly when wearing it. And from above, the way the polished lugs meet the knot strap here is an excellent reason to wear it on leather. This is not as obvious when wearing it on bracelet, and perhaps it's just me, but I find these teeth, or big wide manta ray mouth, look just lovely when glancing down on it sitting on your wrist. The leather strap is signed, fitted as you can see with these notched corners and also quick release. If you like me and prefer leather, you're sorted here. But I'd say still order both bracelet and leather since swapping them over is super easy. And the bracelet is also very nice as you can see here with its brushed and polished details. And screw pins for easy adjustments. Flipping the DRZ 06 over, we get something unusual in a hand-wound Sellita SW-216-1 Elaboré with Inca Block shock protection system. Having no rotor in the way, we get a full view of this attractive movement, and the final version will also have Direnzo stab near the visible jewels. It's a good thing that the crown is quite large since you'll need to wind this daily or so with its 42-hour power reserve. The crown could be ever so slightly grippier, but I do have large fingers, so this may be different for you. The Elaboré movement is regulated in 3 positions, and you should get around ±7 seconds a day accuracy. Now to the Lume, and how sweet it is. There's lots of it, and the surrounding disc uses plenty of negative space to highlight each hour. Have a look and let Sergio know in the comments what you think of it. This has been a bit of a surprise to me. It's so unusual, and the large disc at 6 had me wondering what I would think of it in person. Having worn it for a week now, I can genuinely say that it works in real life, both under my lens and on the wrist. I love the black now, but it'll be available in blue and green also, and my second choice would probably be the green. What you also get for your money here is a bona fide Swiss-made watch, assembled and sent from Switzerland where Sergio lives. I know also that each watch is inspected and won't leave before it's ready, so yet another reason to buy with confidence. So what's your view on this upcoming release? Will you pre-order or still on the fence? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.